I'm a mother. Baby's here. I don't know how to start this video. There's obviously a lot to catch up on, but I am now officially a mother to a newborn. My daughter's name is Arabella Francis. We share a middle name as well as my mom and my great-grandma. She was born on October 11th. I was induced on October 10th, and I want to share my birth story, which is what I thought I was gonna do for like the first video. But there is so much, and I don't even want to label it as traumatic because there was so much good in it and so many like miracles that happened. But at the same time, every time I try to talk about it, I cry. I've written it down and it took me like 2 hours to get everything down. It's just hard to cope with. It is the complete opposite of what I wanted. I ended up having an emergency C-section. I actually went into AFib during my C-section and was in the ICU for like the first day of my daughter's life. And she was in the NICU for 9 days. So we just got home on Sunday. It is now Friday, and she is going to be 2 weeks old on Saturday. So it's been a crazy first 2 weeks of her life. I'm finally glad to be home and to just give this update to check in to say that I am now healthy. I am wearing a heart monitor for 30 days, but I am healthy. I feel great. She is healthy now. She got everything she needed in the NICU and got discharged, and we are so happy to be home. Adjustment has been not as bad as I thought because the NICU and being in the hospital and going to the ICU was so much and very emotional and stuff that getting home feels really easy, and postpartum has been the easiest part of my journey. I had a really difficult pregnancy, a really difficult labor and delivery, and I'm just like really thankful to be home with my baby. I keep crying a lot just because like hormones and stuff, but I'm like so content and excited and happy about finally just being home with her. I love being a mother. I feel like this is everything I was ever meant to be, everything I've ever wanted to be, and so I just wanted to give the update. Arabella, she got her name from her dad. My husband came up with this name like a year before I even got pregnant, and we were just talking about names that we liked, and we for some reason always liked all these girl names but not really that many boy names, so it's clearly meant to be. But one of the names that he randomly came up with was Arabella, who I guess he said was like a main character in a book series that he read, and she was like a princess, Princess Arabella, and it was kind of like similar to like a Narnia story. He can't remember the title of the books. Anyway, that's where he got the name, and I instantly was like, that's the most beautiful name I've ever heard. So then my mom was asking me that summer, like, oh, do you guys have any baby names you like for when you have babies? And I told her our #1 girl name is Arabella, and I had never heard this story before, but her grandfather had called her Arabella. My mom's name is Mary, and like he would call her siblings like some weird names, but called her Arabella. And that is just the most random connection ever. Her name is Arabella, which accidentally ended up being a nickname that a grandfather of my mother, who I never met, called her. And Francis is our middle name. So her name is really significant and special, but also just a pretty name that we like. I've never met an Arabella. I've never heard the name Arabella, but now that we have named her this, I have all these things that keep popping up, all these connections about the name Arabella. And it turns out that her name means answered or answerable prayer, or like beautiful lion or something like that. And her entire story from getting pregnant, my pregnancy, her birth, her in the NICU, I feel like answerable prayer is just like the perfect name for her. And I just couldn't be more happy to be her mom and to be a mom in general. What are some other updates? Recovering from everything from the hospital. My C-section recovery has been surprisingly really easy. I feel like this was God's way of like protecting me. It's like I've had really no pain. I haven't even really been taking any pain medication. Like I took like the Oxy for like 2 days, and then I stopped that, and then I stopped the ibuprofen after like 7 days. I've been walking, and I think that's partly because I had to walk if I wanted to go see her in the NICU, but I feel like God has been like protecting me from pain because of all of the emotional distress I went through. The cardiologist said that he thinks that me going into AFib, because they thought it might have been a clot in my lungs, which would have been another emergency surgery, but he thinks that it was literally just like trauma from everything that happened during my labor. That's a story for another time. But I've decided that I'm not really going to show my daughter her face at all. That's why I'm like making sure she's covered. Obviously, I feel like all babies kind of look the same, but I've just chosen that this is my channel about me. Just like how I hardly ever show my husband. Like I really don't want to show her. I'll talk about motherhood and my journey and things that we do together, but like not really show her, if that makes sense. I am breastfeeding and it has been the most beautiful journey. We're still working on it. She was born 4 pounds 13 ounces. She had dropped down to 4 pounds 7 ounces in the NICU and now she's back up. Her first pediatrician appointment was on Tuesday and she was 4 pounds 14 ounces. So she's back up, she's growing, she's really healthy. Obviously they let her go from the NICU and my pediatrician said she's small but everything looks great. She is technically in the 0 percentile for everything. So she's got a lot of growing to do, but that's okay as long as she keeps growing. It doesn't necessarily matter. Like my pediatrician said, someone's got to be the smallest and it's her. I was 37 weeks when I was induced for gestational hypertension, and I feel like that's partly why a lot of things went wrong. Like it just, my body wasn't ready, she wasn't ready, and it was a really, really tough labor. I had back labor. She was sunny side up, so you feel all the contractions in your back, and that was really, really rough. I didn't ever get the epidural. Obviously, I got a spinal tap when I went in for my C-section, so I labored for 27 hours with no epidural, and it was extremely painful. But it was also some of the most beautiful moments, and that's why, like, I just wish I could have kept laboring and not had to have a C-section, but it was to save her life and my life. But that's, like I said, I just can't get into all of it right now. I'm still processing. There's a quick summary I have on TikTok and on Instagram just about like the generals of what happened, but it's a lot. It's a lot to process. But in the end, all I see is like God's grace and like his providence over the whole thing. There were so many just like little miracles and little things that kept happening throughout this crazy story that I don't really view it as traumatic or as like a negative birth story, but it is kind of a scary one. So I will preface with that when I post my birth story. Maybe if you're pregnant, wait till after you deliver to watch it. This is rare. This like hardly ever happens. Like the odds of this happening to you are so low, but I guess it has to happen to someone, and that someone was me. But anyways, I just love being a mother. I've loved our journey together, our breastfeeding journey, and she's just so tiny and it's just so cute. Like seeing other babies, like she's just so tiny. She barely fits in her preemie clothes. I had to order a bunch of preemie clothes. She's wearing preemie diapers and everything's just so big on her. I knew she was going to be small because she had voluminous cord insertion and intrauterine growth restriction, and at her last growth scan they said she was 4 pounds 10 ounces, and I gave birth 2 weeks later and she was 4 pounds 14 ounces. So she was basically even smaller than they were expecting. It's a little scary, but it's also really cute how small she is. And she is just such a good baby. Like she's just sleeping. She just ate. She's knocked out. Obviously it's been a huge adjustment. Like doing nighttime is really hard. Like I'm getting no sleep. I think she's getting better because you kind of have to train your baby to switch from not knowing if it's day or night to knowing. So like my pediatrician said, wake her up every 2 hours in the day, have the lights on, move around, and then at night like keep things quiet, let her sleep. Don't ever wake her up, but let her, you know, obviously she wakes up, change her diaper, feed her. But as you slowly do that, it's supposed to kind of help them know day from night. So we've had a couple good nights, a couple bad nights, but it's all just part of the process. Like I said, luckily I just had like pretty chill postpartum. Obviously I'm only 2 weeks postpartum, or is it 3 weeks? I don't even know what's going on. 2 weeks on Saturday, 2 weeks tomorrow. But I know things like can get harder, and they probably will, but as of right now I am just loving it. And for once I'm like, oh, I actually love this part. Hated pregnancy, labor was hard, okay, I have my baby, I love this, I'm actually thriving. It's a lot, but I'm so glad I'm on a very long maternity leave. I'm soaking up every single moment of it. This is actually my first time sitting in the nursery because I just have like her bedside bassinet and everything's in my room right now. It's so cute in here. I can't wait to like, maybe I should start coming in here to feed her. But we've just been chilling. There's not really much to update because newborns just eat and sleep, and I just also eat and sleep. So that is my update. Arabella's here. We're healthy, happy family. And welcome to my motherhood journey. I did have one video I filmed before my induction that was like the whole week leading up to it, but I just don't even know if I want to post it because it's just so different than how I view things now. And I was just like, oh, I'm so done being pregnant and I'm nervous about my induction. I talked about like what I expected out of my labor, and it was just so different that I'm just like, I don't even want to edit the video. So I don't know if that'll ever come out, but I did film one. I'm kind of just rambling because I turned on the camera and didn't really know what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say that, hey, I gave birth and here we are, and her name's Arabella, and that's it. So thanks for watching this quick little video. I will post as I see fit, as I am recovering from everything, mostly emotionally and obviously still physically, and just taking care of my baby. So I would like to do some vlogs of like showing kind of what my life is like right now. And we're also kind of like on house arrest until her due date because she was a NICU baby and she's really small. My pediatrician said not to really take her anywhere or have any visitors until her due date, which is next weekend. So I am excited to finally be able to have like people come visit, to be able to go, well, we can go on walks, but like be able to take her places, which is still scary because she's so small in her car seat. Like driving to the pediatrician was like, she's so tiny in there, but it's an adjustment. I'm slowly, like every day, feeling more and more confident in my motherhood journey. Being in the NICU kind of helped me as a mother feel more confident because they kind of teach you everything in the NICU. So you do kind of go home with a baby manual because they're there teaching you everything. So you go home and you're like, oh, I guess I already know what to do. But anyways, now I'm just rambling. I'm just trying to make sure you guys get all the updates. Basically, I'm a mother. She's here. I'm so happy. Things were crazy, but we're good now. And I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. And I will share my birth story whenever I'm ready.